Hello there, welcome to Pen Positive. This is Vinod Narayan. Today I have a guest with me, Father Binoy. Father Binoy, welcome to Pen Positive. He's the managing editor of Pax Lumina, a bimonthly. Now this particular one is technology and peace. It's about peace. Father Binoy is also a PhD in mathematics. We have met a few times before. He's from Kerala, from my own state in India. And he had come down to US. He was in Berkeley. We met and we thought that we should probably talk about Pax Lumina because peace is something that's very important. Can you give me a bit of history about Pax Lumina?
Oh, sure. Yeah. This is actually, Vinod has already introduced this. Pax Lumina is an international bimonthly published by Loyola Institute of Peace and International Relations on behalf of the Peace and Reconciliation Network of the Jesuit Conference of South Asia. Probably I think before introducing Pax Lumina I should talk about Jesuits. Jesuits are one of the religious congregations known for their different ministries, including the Ministry of Education. You might be familiarized with Loyola institutions, Xavier's institutions. In India, of course, XLRI, Jamshedpur, and even in the US, we are running more than 28 universities. So we are working in different arena, in different ways as the ministry as such is concerned. Pax Lumina is precisely published by the Peace and Reconciliation Network. See, in 2018, the Jesuit Conference of South Asia decided what are the priorities that it should talk about or live for or work for. Accordingly, various priorities defined, and peace and reconciliation is the first priority for us for the next 5 to 10 years. Then we thought of initiating a nodal platform. LIPI, to which I am the director in Kochi, became the nodal platform in 2018 itself. Then 2020, this became a peace and reconciliation network for the whole Jesuit Conference of South Asia. So our priority is that, first of all, this is a preference for all our ministries, education, social work, or empowerment programs, environmental works, all the ministries, this should become an overarching concern. So how can we promote peace and reconciliation in the contemporary times? Locally, regionally, globally. We live in the context of increasing violence, problems of various kinds, religious fanaticism, fundamentalism, nepotism, terrorism, and problems of all kinds. And what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in Manipur, and this has been there for long, and violence is everywhere. So we organized Peace Studies program, and we started it in 2019. Then I thought we are already having a publication in a vernacular in Malayalam that is enabling us to engage in conversation with the secular fabric. I thought an English with a better advantages for of Jesuit network would enable us to constructively and creatively engaging in dialogue with the secular or the people irrespective of their caste, creed and religion. Accordingly initiated as an experiment, and the first Pax Lumina was on COVID-19. Can there be hope amidst the melancholy of COVID-19? That was the first issue. We got pretty good responses from different corners. Then the next issue on justice for migrants. That was a time many migrants they were walking for long kilometers and kilometers, thought of highlighting their issue. So we started inviting articles experience based and action oriented. So instead of concentrating on just issues and the problems, we thought of highlighting the harmonious relationship, best models. Then slowly people started joining us. It became an international platform with the second issue, I tell you. And definitely our connections and network also helped. So collaboration and networking is actually the methodology behind the materialization of Pax Lumina. But precisely, whichever be the topic we take, technology and peace, how it affects the human person. Dimensions of inequality, just now we saw. And the most recent one on identity, violence and peace with a specific reference to Manipur, as well as global problems in Bosnia, Africa, Chile, Canada. We have articles from different parts of the world and various corners of the globe. So people are, a platform is being created. So the idea behind is building perspectives. And probably I believe this is one of the best ministries that we are engaged in, along with education, social work, how to build perspectives, how to make people agents of change, especially in the process of building peace and reconciliation. And so along with this, Pax Lumina alone is not just, this is one of the entities of the Peace and Reconciliation Network. We conduct a peace studies program. We have an international faculty. The members who belonging to Pax Lumina family, they are also the resource persons. The topics are different: understanding peace, conflict transformation, art and peace, science and peace, human rights, inner peace, outer peace, and that has also got a project work. All those, we have already trained more than 150, ambassadors of peace, and they are already in the platform of Pax Lumina too. So it is mutually related, mutually enhancing, with multiple projects on the same platform of peace and reconciliation.
If someone wants to go ahead and read Pax Lumina,
yeah,
because I know that you're doing most of the publishing in India,
yeah,
but across the world, if people want to read, how do they get to it?
Very simple. This is actually, you can download it free from the website. This is the one, paxlumina.com, the name itself.
Okay.
Pax means peace, Lumina means light, light of peace, www.paxlumina.com.
Okay.
You get the most recent issues up to all the past issues. You can download it in PDF. And honestly, I get, very positive vibes and responses from various corners, including scholars, For example, maybe to quote Shiv Vishwanathan, one of the prominent writers in India, highlighted Pax Lumina as one of the counter narratives in the contemporary times. And that's been highlighted in the editorial of Indian Express. Similarly, from across the globe, from Boston College, from Georgetown University, I'm getting responses.
And the topics are not necessarily subcontinent based.
No.
Okay.
It's, most of the topics, for example, this time Manipur was incentive in taking identity and peace. We thought of starting with ethnicity and peace. Then my editor, Dr. Jacob Thomas IAS, who is also a master brain behind, he was suggesting, why can't we think of identity? That's a global issue. Ethnicity is part of that. Accordingly, that has been addressed, from a diverse perspective. Then we get a holistic understanding of what is happening globally as well as locally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And there was one more, I wanted to take that, the other
publication?
There were two.
Pax Lumina?
Yeah, so this was the other Pax Lumina, dimensions of inequality. Inequality, technology, peace. Again, I'll ask you the same question. I want to get an English version of that thing. It's about shallowness and depth.
Okay.
When we look at peace, we always talk about violence at a very surface level, right? We think peace is something that has to go very deep to even attain peace.
Yeah.
But violence is something that is inherently there in a lot of people, right?
Sorry.
I think, because I was listening to Krishnamurti, Jiddu, some time back, and he said that the thought can be violent. Forget about the actions, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And this whole dialogue about peace, dialogue about technology and peace. Why do you think we are not conversing about it much? Or rather, a lot of people talk about peace and then they start fighting over it.
Yeah.
Why is it that we can't have sane conversations on peace? Why do you think it is so difficult for people to talk about peace? Is it because people have different versions of peace,
Right, yeah.
perspectives of peace, or ways to achieve peace?
Okay.
How? And I'm asking this, I don't know whether there need to be an answer. I'm just asking that tomorrow I'm going to have a conversation, say, with someone that I disagree on 90% of the things.
Okay.
There could be people. And I want to talk about peace. Where do I start?
Yeah. Okay. I think what is the starting point of peace?
Peace,
That is-
yeah.
that's,
What is the
first
starting
question.
point of peace?
Probably addressing that very question, we should talk about what is peace. There are different theoretical narratives. Probably one of the best references to Guan Galtung. He's a Norwegian social scientist who is known as the father of peace studies. He talks about peace, it is not just absence of violence. It's not just absence of violence. There is inner peace, as you talked about, peace in thought. There is outer peace. Then he is also providing a conflict triangle, of structural, cultural, or personal or direct. So you can easily draw a parallel to direct violence, cultural violence, structural violence. So peace is a very complex verb as violence is. Structure. You need structural transformation. We have been talking about conflict resolution, conflict management. Now we are talking about transformation, conflict transformation, because structurally that has to be transformed.
Conflict transformation.
Conflict transformation, not just resolution is, they are not sustainable.
No.
You just, it's like a ceasefire, But conflict transformation is something very sustainable where, that's a real solution. That's a real solution. That's an attitude.
Does conflict not exist after the transformation? Is that what the...
Yeah, definitely. No conflict.
You're transforming out of conflict.
You're transforming the conflict itself.
Okay, conflict itself.
Conflict, and definitely naturally the reasons behind it or the root causes, everything behind it. So peace as such, I find it's a big umbrella. You take any disciplines, there are all violence. So you can talk about environmental peace, that is dealing with environment, psychological peace, emotions and integrity, and economic peace, disparity which Amartya Sen speaks about, and human rights violation, that is sociological. So peace should be addressed from a multidisciplinary perspective. So I cannot provide a single formula for peace, but the starting point, I believe, is the context. Because we live in a context of violence, as I said, violence in different formats, migrants or the refugees, the wars, violence of different formats. Apart from that, the individual problems, people committing suicide, and violence of different kinds. So, peace, violence, justice, reconciliation, all these have to be addressed in the wider platform. All these are interrelated. Can you think of peace without justice?
No.
You cannot, because justice presupposes, peace presupposes justice and reconciliation. Without reconciliation, do you say that peace is full? Definitely no. That's why peace and reconciliation. You can establish peace, but reconciliation is very difficult. I've addressed the topic, previous issue was on reconciliation. But when you go into the deeper dimensions of it, it's very, very difficult, because it's about the hearts, it's about the minds, it's between persons, very difficult. Now you talked about the topic as such, technology and peace. Deliberately I put it technology. If you just browse in the net, immediately you get a lot of information. With chat GPT, you can have anything and everything on your fingertip. But can you give a different narrative, a different approach? Artificial intelligence today, people talk about, can humanoids replace humans? Will there be ethical format? How about their autonomy and free will? Can they replace humans? That has been the topic of concern today, and it is moving to us, and definitely we have to be open to. But does algorithm represent the reality? In one of the conversations you mentioned about that. Algorithm cannot represent the reality as it is. Because it is artificial to a great extent. Artificial intelligence is artificial. Doesn't it lack the aspect of being human? As I already mentioned, the complexity of brain, the human consciousness. So these are the areas that we should think about it. So critical thinking is something very fundamental to Pax Lumina. When we address an issue, get different perspectives and approach it critically, reflect on it, then discern about it. Accordingly, formulate a vision for you or a worldview for you. So from that perspective, Pax Lumina is not just a mine of information, but perspective. We are facilitating the perspective building process in view of promoting peace and reconciliation.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And once people read Pax Lumina, how do they converse? How do they engage?
Yeah.
Is there a group that they can engage with?
Well,
you, or how do they reach out to you by message or something? I mean,
okay. Usually they send comments to comments to the editor. Okay. That is paxlumina2020@gmail.com.
Okay.
All those things are there, so you will see good number of responses from people from various corners. That is one thing. Second, I think the conversation should go on in respective platforms wherever it reaches.
Exactly.
It reaches all over now. All our institutions, networks, and people of goodwill, and we have got a wonderful database of emails. So when it reaches, they will be prompted to read. It's not just enabling them to download. That can also be done. So the platform is getting bigger and bigger, and people of goodwill. And I should appreciate that none of the writers are, all of them are writing without any remuneration. That itself shows their commitment for the mission of peace and reconciliation. Yeah.
Now, how many editions, or rather, how many years have it been?
Yeah, we initiated it during the COVID times.
Okay.
So 2020 May we started. Now it's the 19th edition.
Okay, so that was the year we met in Kerala. We met in January
Kerala.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Okay, so it was after that.
Yeah.
I remember you saying at that point that
English.
This is coming.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's as I said, the horizon is growing. Many people are writing from all over, and they are also partaking in the peace studies program, as I said. So a body is formed or in the making, and its number is on an increase, so that the body also becomes larger. So that's the way it works.
Okay. So I think that's good. We could keep talking, but I know he's also busy, and we met somewhere and we said that we'll take some time, 15 minutes to just have a quick. But we could probably, once you're back in India, we could probably talk on Zoom or have more conversations once we. I think some of these topics need by itself.
And for your information, this has been taken as one of the best practices by the International Association of Jesuit Universities Peace and Reconciliation Network.
Oh, okay.
So it reaches people. I'm very glad that in a short span of 3 hours it has come to that level.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vinod. And finally, I should acknowledge the wonderful commitment and the generosity of my teamwork. It's a fruit of teamwork. Starting with the editor, Jacob Thomas IAS, is an Indian Administrative Service Officer, and is also the Dean of the Academic Dean of our Peace Studies program. So we are in the same boat. And Dr. Nina Joseph, Dr. Agustin Pamplani, many, Shiv Vishwanathan, Irfan Ali Engineer, many people are there with us. So it's going good. It's a teamwork. Even when I talk on behalf of our team.
Definitely.
So Team Pax Lumina.
Definitely. Team
Thank you. Yeah.
Pax Lumina.
Yeah. Thank you.
So thanks for everything that you're doing. And I want to have more conversations on this, and I'm I hate to stop, but we have to stop it at this moment and maybe take up this conversation further. I want to talk on dimensions of inequality. I want to talk about technology and peace separately. We should probably set up some Zoom calls and then have discussions on that.
As a renowned media person, Vinod, you have taken interest in it. That itself is, very promising, very encouraging, and that is highly appreciated. Despite your hectic schedule, we made it,
No, there are certain things that we have to do, and we have to find time.
Thank you so much, Vinod. Thank you. That's appreciated.
Thank you.